So I saw John Wick 1 and 2, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. They're good films. It's one of the times when I will actually say, just turn your brain off and watch it. And the reason why I say that is you really don't. You're not missing out on a lot. I don't know. I don't know who directs it, but it's got a lot of punch. It's got a lot of action. I think Michael Bay and J.J. Abrams could take a lot of notes on the subversion. The subverting expectations factor. John Wick 2. They're running around, and the guy on the motorcycle is being chased by John Wick. So I thought they were gonna have this stupid chase that would go on forever, but John Wick just drove his car around and let the guy run into him. Expectations subverted. I guess maybe it was just the second one where John Wick's chasing after the Hispanic guy or the Italian guy, and he goes to the Continental and he's like, I want to see the guy, and the desk guy's like, well, just over there, he's waiting for you. So there's none of this like pussyfooting around, this endless posturing that they go on the tram, and Cassian's there, and they come closer to each other, not further away. So just a lot of expectations just absolutely subverted. The first one, it does a couple things just so well. I think the one thing that, if you ask any normie about this movie, they're going to tell you about the dog or whatever, and it's done so well. You get attached to the beagle. You love it because it's just so adorable, and they kill it, but they don't make it that bad when they killed it. It could have been worse. It's still really bad, and so it doesn't matter who you are. You can't watch it and not have a take in it. You can't watch this dog with its wonderful droopy ears pal around with Keanu Reeves and not be invested in it. And so I've heard my friends tell me what happens. I know what happens in the movie, but I'm even at this point where I don't want the movie to start. I want John Wick to be able to hang out with his dog and just play fetch or do whatever he was going to do with the dog. And so but you know what? The movie almost took me out of my comfort zone, because I was like, okay, this is the exposition phase. This should last, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, setting up the story. I think the exposition phase was closer to 10, maybe just screeching out there at 15 minutes in. But the movie just gets going. And Theon Greyjoy's the bad guy, and Keanu Reeves is basically the villain in this. In the way it's shot, he's basically just this unstoppable agent of doom, and it's hard to describe. It's different than just 007 killing over and over again, or like there's that movie called Shoot 'Em Up that is a shoot 'em up, and they shoot 'em up in the movie, right? It's different than that in the way that you really see it from the bad guys. And I don't know why. I don't know why I feel for the bad guys. There's really nothing. You hate Theon. You hate his dad. You hate Theon's goofy friends. Mainly because they're goofy, not because they're evil. And you just hate all of them, but you still feel like they're on they're like in a horror movie. And it's wonderful because they're typically, for the most part, the ones that understand what's going on. They understand the severity of the issue. They understand that there's an action movie hero star coming to kill them. There's an action movie hero star coming to kill them. And so I really feel like for the most part, they act with the utmost precaution and the most sensible amount of precaution required. Oh, hey, you have 12 guys? Well, let's just send them over to John Wick, send them over to his house. Maybe they can sort it out. And the villains were stormtroopers, but they still had more meaning. I think every single bad guy had something neat about them. There's a lot of guys, like a lot of just like henchmen bad guys that could have been the heads of different of organizations in different movies. You know, you look at these guys, especially, you know, the guy with the beard and the jacket, and he's big, and you look at these guys, you're like, oh wow, you know, this is gonna be a boss fight. But John Wick just grabs the beard, slams his head on the table, and then shoots his head through the thing. But it's great. They had an excellent, like, so there's you know, there's the head bad guys that John Wick doesn't kill, and I guess it's just the code. I don't know. Twice in a row, there's another agent he doesn't kill, and then he doesn't kill the main bad guy in the first one, and it just works out very poorly for everyone involved. I think very, very poorly, and so I guess in the first movie he's kind of just like shaking around the code but still playing by the rules, and then by the second movie he's just like, forget the code. So I guess there's some cool, instead of him being willy-nilly, if you look at it across the movies, it's more of him having a progression, really. And the code, I guess, I don't know, the code, it seems just as nebulous as, you know, it seems more nebulous than the Ferengi code, but less nebulous than the Fairy Odd Parents code, because I guess there's only two rules. In the first movie, they only tell you one rule. In the second movie, they tell you there's two. I mean, not that there's a contradiction established. They never tell you how many rules there are in the first movie. But I'm hoping that the third movie has a third rule that kind of just Deus ex machinas everything along the rails. Shut up and watch. And this movie has so many throwaway lines, and there's so many just like coincidences that just, you know, you're pinning the needle, the thread through the needle, but it just works so well. I mean, I think the main reason I'm willing to shut off the action is there's just a lot of, like, first of all, there's some weird shit that happens. Like, after John Wick kills those 12 guys, there's a cleanup crew that comes in, and you know, I don't know, I don't think about that stuff. I don't think about the janitors that have to like unfuck these battle scenes. And in that way, it was almost more rewarding than the violence that led to it. I mean, I don't know. I'm not just like, yeah, I've talked about the Star Wars thing. So action movies to me are really hit and miss. And so even the action sequences, I'm not, you know, super hyped into them, but they're a treat to watch. He's fighting in nightclubs. He's fighting at concerts. He's fighting pretty much wherever there's music. And where there's music, there's a bunch of artsy fartsy fucks in the background doing cool shit while he's fighting, killing, and it's really just a spectacular visual splendor. I'm one. I really like a bunch of filters. I like how they color shit sometimes. It's it really just makes every scene seem a little bit different. And every single scene just has its own take. But yeah, I mean, it's really just this long endless line. I guess we could talk about characters. John Wick, he's pretty cool. He's just, I mean, you immediately emotionally identify with the man because of what happens with his dog. You immediately emotionally identify with him, and that's really all you need. And then they just slowly start revealing, and it's mostly just some idiot screaming, "That's John Wick!" over and over again. But hey, you know, it's refreshing, I guess, because it's not a story about him coming out. It's not like his rise to power. You know, it seems like everyone needs just a fucking origin story now, where the guy starts at rock bottom and then, you know, works his way up somehow. Fucking autofocus, man. This bitch. Can you see anything? I mean, I wish you would just focus on me. Oh, I had a blurry screen. Nope. It just seems like it's trying to focus so hard. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to watch. So John Wick, he comes out and he's basically just a badass, and that's like his whole thing is he built up this entire mafia. And I don't know. It's, I guess, the main reason why I'm so cool with it, just like that's John Wick, and that's the only explanation, is it just gets things moving. Like, why, you know, I'm willing to just take it for granted that this guy is badass, but you have to show me that he's badass, and then they show me that he is badass, and so it works out. You know, it's I get, yeah, the reason why that's John Wick to me like resounds so well is just because like his actions end up, they do very little talking and they do very much showing, and so that's great. There's just a really cringy like Russian aesthetic just to the whole movie, and I get that it's the Russian mob, and I mean I get that they're Russian, but it's, I don't know. Calling him the Baba Yaga is such a butchering of that translation, because it's, you know, it's a boogeyman. Sure, it kind of sounds like boogeyman, but it's an old lady that lives in a house on a giant chicken leg, and she counts the fingers of sinners and liars and shit like that. And but I mean, to a sense though, he kind of lives up to the Baba Yaga, because the Baba Yaga torments sinners and liars, and is a defender or a provider, depending upon, you know, where in the Slavic, who you ask, what dirty Slav you ask about, where they come from. And that was just a nice little tie-in, I guess. Maybe they're just introducing a theme to the audience that's just super easy to digest, and that's really what a lot of this movie is super easy to digest. There was only one part that wasn't super duper clear to me, and there's this sign language chick in the second movie, and you see her with defending her brother, or the Antonio guy, and then you see her around her sister. So I thought that she was just like the family security chick, and for whatever reason, she was just playing like both sides, trying to, I don't know. I had this really dumb half-baked idea that wasn't made super duper clear. But she was a cool character. She did sign language stuff. That was pretty awesome, I guess. That was her whole thing, is she did sign language stuff. Man, just fucking focus. Let's see if you focus. Let's see if you focus. Will you focus now for me, please? No, you won't. You won't focus. Okay, well, every time I move my head, it refocuses. Fantastic. But the camera's so good, I can see. Okay. Characters. Theon Greyjoy in the first movie was pretty good. I like it because on one hand, I hate him, but on the other hand, you know, you just feel sorry for him. Maybe I'm just having Theon sympathy for him because of that redemption arc he gets later. I don't know. I guess he's just kind of. I said it wasn't an origin movie, but it is kind of his origin movie in a way. He just ruthlessly chases down Theon, and I don't know. Theon's pretty great about it. He's pretty cavalier about being hunted down by John Wick. He doesn't really understand the severity of it, and that's the way the movie's shown. He's almost like you know the the girl with the glasses in the party in any horror game that realizes that there's just something terribly wrong going on, and so um, it's almost like a horror movie with Theon being the protagonist in a way. So that was shot really well. His dad's pretty cool. His dad's thing is he beats people up, and he beats that's this thing. It's cool. I kind of like by the end of it, he just has this like he gets drunk and he just goes full on meta, and as John Wick is chasing them, like he's down to his last two Suburbans full of henchmen, and John Wick runs the other henchmen off the road to plummet into a drive dock, and he just starts laughing, and then John Wick hits them, and he starts laughing and giggling, and I would be doing the same thing. I mean, that's just it's so human. And it breaks a lot of tropes that you would just be, just scared. And he has a good show. He has a good run for his money at the end, I think. He's not going to get John Wick, but maybe he'll do some cool shit. And he does some cool shit. So, all in all, I mean, the characters in the first one were great. The desk guy, cool. They didn't really make clear who the guy with the British name was. They didn't really make clear who he was right away, but he was all right, I guess. I like the guy in the garage. He's in a lot of Netflix movies. He punched Theon, and he was a great supporting character. He was good in the second one. The desk guy is good in the second one. The guy that runs everything, he now with a bigger role, he was cool. And that when he stops that crowd to look at John Wick, that was an awesome moment because I just didn't see that coming. So he has power, but he's definitely neutral, but he's partial to John Wick. He kills a chick for trying to kill someone at the Continental, and then he gives John Wick a head start when he does it. So, bit of neutral, bit of not. Who is the bad guy in the second one? I mean, I just remember a lot of John Wick going. Oh yeah, Antonio was the bad guy. He was pretty good. I mean, it's like it's a dirty assassination attempt against his sister, and he's interesting because he's basically just the thing that he's there to make the movie happen. John Wick has to have a bad guy to hunt down, and it kind of plays this meta too, where he's just like, I know you're going to try to kill me, but you got to do this. I'm not. I mean, by him, don't think about it too much, but basically, like, by John Wick killing this guy and getting the entire agency after him, it's just the same. I mean, it's no different than them refusing the stupid mark. These rules, I guess, like shut off your brain, think about it. The only thing, like, I'm just like on the edge of my seat about is the fact that they're just introducing these rules to you to show you that they're breakable. Like it's just giving you the blueprints for what to do. Oh, can't do that. I can't say no to the mark. Okay, I'm gonna say no to the mark. Oh, I can't kill in the Continental. I'm gonna go kill in the Continental. Like as soon as this information's released, and I'm sure it's just to keep it quick and Michael Bay like. So I mean, it's just a minor gripe, teeny tiny gripe. The world building was cool. It's kind of cringy how I don't know, the coins are kind of, I don't know, they're cool, but it's also overdone. It's like John Wick puts this like chocolate coin sized coin into the dispenser, and the guy opens the door, and it's, I don't know, it's a bit comical. There's like a call center that's somehow in the 1950s, but it's got a bunch of girls with tattoos, and it's a cool aesthetic. It's just kind of, yeah. I mean, in the Russian, the ASL, I guess, was kind of cool, mostly because she scraped his nutsack. That was fun, but yeah, the Russian was just kind of cringy. The coins are kind of cringy. Um, really, just this fucking idea that there would be anywhere that could somehow be stable and just be this focal point for all these spies and assassins and spy assassins and assass spies. Um, it's really just quite incredible because there's not a lot of security uh, to be had there. I guess what they do is they just put your name on the list and you're on the shit list, and they'll put $1 million on your head, and just all the homeless people, they're also spy assassins. They're gonna get you, but there's nothing really preventing anyone from just letting loose. And it's put on display. But I don't know. I'm willing to forgive all these nitpicks because the movie's just so quick and so fun. I really feel like I missed out not being able to see these in IMAX and not being able to hear them in high definition surround sound, because that would be such a treat. Such a treat to have all that. The car combat was pretty cool. I think my favorite thing about it is the car combat. John Wick sure takes a lot of damage, but I'm willing to just accept that I don't know, he gets hit by a lot of cars. I want to say he gets hit at least 6 or 7 times between the two movies okay, maybe we're like 4 or 5 in the two movies I've seen, and probably about like 2 or 3 different cars, if we're being honest here. I don't know. So at some point in the first movie, the car combat is silly, but I just think that's kind of a product of them trying to outdo everything else he's done and still keep it level, because those two concepts are very very at odds with each other. I think that what the movie does the best is it just gives you so many options for plausible deniability. Just to kind of just like, oh, okay, like well, like the Mark, he's got to go on the quest, and this is the thing that forces him to go because he wouldn't go otherwise, and I'm totally cool with that because the quest was awesome. There's killing the dog, that just leads to ramifications, repercussions. So the way that it just segues through and through is really nice. I'm so glad that the second one didn't start off with the dog dying too, because that, I don't know, I would have punched my neighbor's TV screen. I was just Hayukin it or whatever. Yeah, the henchmen. It feels like a lot of times they're just stupid and useless. Sometimes, but he's got such a variety with the way he kills things, and he does this thing where like he like pacifies one in front of him while he's killing a bunch of people behind that guy. Yeah, all in all, like I think it's a fun movie. It's a really fun movie. It's fun 2 movies. I'm looking forward to seeing the third. Not really sure when I'm gonna watch these over again. I mean, but you really don't see John Wick, I think, on a lot of streaming platforms. Maybe I'm just not on a lot of like streaming platforms like Netflix or anything like that. But it was just a treat. I think that I think this is a movie for idiots, but it does it so well that you can take these pseudo intellectual lecturers like myself and still get an incredible set of aesthetics. My all of my expectations subverted. I mean, many of my expectations subverted, and they're just moving things along. I mean, it doesn't feel like he's going after the MacGuffin. It doesn't feel like this is a constant game of goalpost moving. It feels like it's just it's rises and falls of his power level. It's got these layers that just go up and down, and that's kind of the best. You know, when he's down, he's got to get away from the bad guys. When he's up, he's got to get the bad guys, and when he's getting up, he's got to get the means to get the bad guys. There is just some weirdness in the second movie. I don't know that he goes and sees Morpheus, and this is like a whole thing just for Morpheus to give him a pistol. I mean, I guess what the thing was is how he was getting off, the backs of everyone there. But dude, come on, man! Like, I don't know, $7 million. I guess the reason why was so that they would fuck over Antonio. But I thought that Morpheus's faction was the faction of the black guy that was talking to the sister at the beginning, because he was talking about some sort of dispute or something between their factions, and she was like, "You're my bitch. Just go ahead, go enjoy the party." And so I thought, that they were establishing this motivation for this faction to be. Oh yeah, by the way, the sister was fantastic. You see her at the beginning, and she's got this this wonderful just white dress thing, and then she looks so pure and almost angelic. But then you see that she's a dirtbag. I expected her to be doing drugs, but it wasn't that cliche. She gets naked, and you know what? They don't show it on screen. I'm so cool with that. I don't need these smut scenes just dangling out there. I mean, I think it was very tasteful. Maybe not suitable for anyone under the age of like 14 or 15, and that's being, of course, a little conservative. I mean, I know there's kids out there that watch South Park, and but I feel like this movie does a good job with like keeping things pretty tame. I mean, there's a lot of blood. There's a lot of blood and gore, but I've seen worse. I've seen a lot of worse. Fun movie.